Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave. Today's build and play guide is on the German Z-39 destroyer. And I like this one quite a bit. It's a lot like the Z-35 in a lot of ways, just not quite as good at guns. Torps don't go quite as far, and the detection isn't quite as good. But overall, really good ship. So let's get started. Uh, we are using Eric Bays. You can see that is just him with a Geist on it. We are using Sai-Chan and Swirsky. So we're essentially running a 2.5 times detection. I know people will, some people, that's not everybody's thing. For me, it pans out way more often than it hurts me, and you're going to see it again in this video. Every time I do these videos, you almost always see it pay off for me. So for our skills, we're taking observe at range, look at me now, twist and track to help the traverse speed on the guns, but more importantly to show where the closest person is to us. And we are using Torpedo Royal. Now you could do a smoke on the water if you wanted. That's up to you. And our skill is unstoppable for the reduced mobility with a disabled engine or rudder. That is super important. For your modifications, we are using the main battery traverse mod 1 to help the turrets traverse a little bit quicker, get them wrapped around. Propulsion mod 2, and as always, concealment mod 1 in our last slot. So for your loadouts, you do have 2 smokes that actually are not bad on this thing, and you can use them to sit and fire from. I'm not that type of destroyer player. I'd rather spot for teammates. If I get the chance to shoot in the smoke, I will, but I use these more to get out of a bad spot, like a get out of jail free card. And you do get 2 engine boosts. That can come in handy. And the sonar on this thing is pretty incredible, just like the Z-35. You have a 5-kilometer detection of ships. So, what does that mean? If you run a 2.5 detection build like I am, you can out detect people if you wanted with your sonar. I wouldn't recommend it. I would use that till they hide and smoke, to be honest. Super handy sonar, just awesome. Help 19.6, one of the higher ones at the tier, and right along with the Z-35. Now, unlike the Z-35, this actually has the 150s instead of the 127s or 128s. They do hit a little bit harder, but the reload time is much less, and you only get 4 of them. And for your torpedoes, you get 8 of them that reload in a minute and a half and a maximum damage of 15,000. So not terrible, pretty average tier, average torpedoes for the most part. For your AA defense, I haven't ran across any carriers, but I can assure you, you are not going to rely on it. At least it does have a little bit to try to get some planes down if he just does focus on you, but again, it's going to be rough. Maneuverability, this thing definitely seems better than what the stats show, to be honest with you. And the concealment, as you can see, is 4.9, so sub 5, which I like quite a bit. So we go over to our stats. You can see I've got 2 games in it. Nothing fancy, but you know, in destroyers, it's not always about damage. It's about how you play and if you win. And for me, I'm not a damage hunter when I'm in a destroyer. For your armor, it's a destroyer. You don't want to take unnecessary damage if you don't need to. As we start the match, it's disclaimer time. This is a beginner's video meant to help people new to the ship or new to the game. This is not meant for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything in the universe. There are multiple ways to play and build this ship, and I am a above average player. Not the world's best. I make mistakes. You may see one in this match. You didn't come here for pronunciations. I'm as good as anybody at slaughtering beautiful languages all the time. With that out of the way, you can see we're at Scandinavia. I don't necessarily care for this map a whole lot, but Destroyer Player is really important here. I do like the map if a lot more if I get the center spawn, but we're going to go ahead and move up. Now, I have two battleships with me. Why is it important? That means I got to be careful when I run into another destroyer. Because the odds are there's a chance that I could have two destroyers going against me. As you can see, I am pointing out on my map where we are. Now, we're bottom tier, but I think most of the other destroyers are actually 6. Yeah, the 271s and the tier 7 Jaegers. So when I see a Jaeger, I'm not scared at all because generally they're pretty... pretty non-aggressive players or not great players normally when you run across them. So that being said, we're going to move in and just kind of be a little bit cautious. We're letting our battleships know where the nearest guy is to us. Does two things. It lets them know if they're a decent player, to let them know where the destroyer is, to maybe be ready to shoot. And also, it actually will let them know, hey, I have twists and tracks. So you can see they're going behind the mountain right now. I don't necessarily like both of them going there. So I am being very cautious right now. I could lose a gunfight or even in a fair fight here. I don't want a fair fight because if I lose all my health, that does not help me whatsoever. They're behind the mountain. So as you see, we're going to move up, but we're going to be cautious. We're getting our guns turned around and we spot them. And this is why I like double detection, right? That's a Z-31. They have relatively good detection, right? And we outspot it and we allow other guys to get shots on. Once I see other people help shooting, we go ahead and start as well. He's going to go ahead and panic smoke. Now, I was just out of range. Otherwise, I would have actually charged in a little bit. Now I haven't seen him throw torpedoes out yet, so I don't want to go just charging randomly into the smoke yet. And also, we clearly have him in a position where he's definitely hurt, and we can win that battle. So as you can see, as I get ready to go turn back at him, he's already leaving the smoke. He probably figured I was going to charge in and use my sonar and just get rid of him. But as you can see here, we are 100% just laying into them. We have a distinct advantage right now, and we are gaining the cap. So that's one thing I got to be careful here. I do need the cap. Points are super helpful. Like, you got to, as a destroyer, spotting, getting rid of the other destroyer, and cap control. Number one things. And this ship is pretty darn good at it, to be honest with you. As you can see, I'm just trying to get the cap right now. As you can see, we got the cap. I'm going to throw torpedoes out just in case he comes back at me. Obviously, I'm not exactly sure where he is. He was kind of running back to his team. But we do have to be a little bit careful here because we don't want him to charge in, and we have or we don't want to just charge into torpedoes. Sometimes I do that when I'm getting aggressive in a destroyer. Like, I know I have this battle won against him, but if I run in there like an idiot, hit a torp, get myself caught, there's going to be torps at some point. We haven't seen them, but surprisingly anyway, we haven't seen any torps. But anyway, we have a Z-31 over there with full health, meaning he should be able to take care of his own. And you can see that destroyer is backed up quite a bit, and almost looks like the Iowa is the closest person. So you can kind of see I'm looking around. I see that B cap. We have 3 caps, but the B cap is still open. And so I'm going to start to make a move for it. Why is that important? Because if these battleships decide to stay behind this mountain, Nobody is going to be able to see him. Like, nobody can see Bismarck right now until I get through and start spotting him right here. And I got to be careful. I don't want to shoot my guns right now at the Bismarck, but the Z-31 runs right into us trying to run away. I'm not sure what this guy was doing, but I am glad he didn't have the located perk, so I know he wasn't a very good player or not a very aggressive player, and it kind of shows. You know, he got himself into pretty good trouble here. In fact, I kind of honestly half expect him to smoke up. He might not have had his smoke here, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and work on getting rid of him. Now we see that Bismarck secondaries are coming at us. We got to be careful. We're going to pop that smoke here just to disengage and so that he can't see us, because the last thing we want to do is get wrecked by a bunch of secondaries. Now, they're not hitting us, but the amount of damage that they are doing when they do hit us is significant. So we're going to go ahead now and try to work towards getting the B cap, and we're going to have to be a little bit careful here because we don't have a smoke. But you can see there are torps coming there clearly. And like I said, cap control important. So not only am I spotting all of the battleships to my right, I also am the guy spotting these battleships to our left as well. So not only am I grabbing a cap, I am spotting. And right now I'm not just shooting my guns all willy-nilly. Now you can see we have gotten rid of all their destroyers. So it'd be hard for them to come back from here from right now. So I don't mind playing a little bit aggressive because we're going to end up getting a win on points even at that, because we're halfway through the match. We have 3 of the caps about to get all 4 of them. So you can see real quickly matches can get out of control if you don't have destroyers. And you're going to see, in fact, this one actually does. But just, you know, as always in my videos, you're going to see me try to hunt destroyers. Like in every video, that's like my favorite thing to do, is get rid of destroyers and cap control. I'm playing to win, not for damage. And you can see right here, we haven't had a super great game for damage. Now, we throw some torpedoes at Nagato because he's running away from the rest of our team. And at the meantime, I'm still spotting for the right side if they need it. As you can see, there is our destroyers over there, our battleships over. We have 2 battleships, and them guys on the enemy team on that D side have put themselves kind of in a not wonderful position over there. They're both the enemies have put themselves together. Our team is spread out a little bit more, and we are going to focus here on Nagato. So he did dodge our first set of torps, but now he is starting to move in right to our torp area, right? So he's driving kind of close to us, and you can see we're going to get our torps reloaded here, and we're going to send a bunch off. I felt like nobody was shooting this guy, and I honestly didn't want him to go take the cap away. But you can see there's no guns pointed at me here, and that's when I realized it right around here, I think. Look in, see if his guns are pointed. His guns are not pointed at me, so I figured, what the heck? Maybe I can finish him off here really quick. But then I see I'm in range of the other battleship. My torpedoes look good. So I'm going to start to focus on that battleship. We're going to switch to AP because he's giving us his broadside. And we're going to shoot into that superstructure high up. And that's one thing as we get rid of the other battleship. As you can see, you can do significant amounts of damage with AP, even against a battleship, right? You just can't shoot the belt. You have to shoot up into the superstructure, even the upper side plating, kind of above the belt. You could get some pins, but you can see very clearly and very quickly we got rid of 2 guys on the board there. So as you can see, we are getting close to the end of the match. And like I said, really just most importantly, I, in this ship, try to hunt destroyers, spot for my team, and cap control. Them are really the 3 things. Now, if you get a position like we're here to help get rid of some guys, because guns aren't targeting you and they're low health, help get rid of them. But don't put yourself in dumb spots or, put yourselves in risk of of doing stuff. As you can see, the game comes to an end there. But anyway, most importantly, we helped our team win. And we had a solid match. I like this ship quite a bit. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time, folks. Have a good one.